So hi, just to start, my name is Katerina. Welcome if you're new. If you're not, I'm so happy that you're back, and I'm so happy all of you guys clicked on this video today. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I just wanted to start this off with a little disclaimer that this is my health journey. I'm gonna be pretty general, pretty vague with it because every person, every body, every person in a different stage of their life needs different things. This is not going to be like a specific video, but I thought I'd share my journey and how I got so into health and wellness. And then if you have any specific questions about you or want tips about you specifically, definitely talk to a registered dietitian. I hope you guys enjoy the video. And also just want to say sorry ahead of time if this is relatively like boring. But I wanted to make sure I was trying to get all of the topics that I want to talk about out. Enjoy! Okay, so I didn't really know how to start this video just because I feel like it's very it's been a very long process. It's not just like from one, like my health journey wasn't really from one day to the next, or it wasn't really from one period to the next. It's kind of been like a journey all throughout my life. I was a super confident kid. I did musical theater, so I was like really out there. I was just like very comfortable in my skin, very comfortable with myself. And then it was probably around like 7 or 8 years old, no, like 8 or 9 years old, that I didn't really look like the other girls my age. I definitely looked more mature, I'll say that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone is different. But at the time, I wanted to fit in, and when you're young like that, you want to just feel like, oh, everyone's growing up the same. And I started to realize that I was like a little bit different size-wise from the other girls in my grade, and I started kind of getting comments from just certain close people around me. And I didn't really realize it until, you know, the past few years, but those comments definitely stuck with me. They definitely affected how I looked at myself and how I looked at food and how I looked at what clothes I picked and that kind of thing. My body went through a lot of changes, obviously, between like 8 years old and like high school, as one does. I would fluctuate between probably 10 pounds up and down throughout those years, and I always got comments about how good I looked when I was on the lighter end. And then I went into high school, and that's just kind of, I feel like, when everyone's insecurities really set in, just because, you know, it's natural. You compare yourself, especially when you're in high school and there's so many people to compare yourself to. Definitely got super insecure just because of the girls around me, and, you know, boys start getting involved and all that kind of stuff, so you want to be, I wanted to feel cute based on society standards. So like before dances, I would try calorie counting, or I would try like crazy detox diets, like juice cleanses, like fully raw vegan diets when I was like not even close to vegetarian or vegan or anything like that at that point. So that was like very much just not good mindset, especially because I would do those things not for my health but for looks. And then in high school, it was kind of the beginning of like I started getting anxious, and when I'm anxious I get super nauseous. There was like a point where I was just anxious all the time, so I was nauseous all the time, and I liked it. I never really realized this at the time. I weirdly enjoyed that feeling because I knew it meant I wasn't going to eat a lot. And there was a point in high school where I just lost a lot of weight. I was always tired. My mood was always super low. I didn't love myself. And then when I did eat a full meal, I was like, oh. I definitely struggled with disordered eating, disordered thinking. And I had such a negative relationship with food. And so yeah, at that point, it was probably a solid like 5 or 6 months, I think, where I was just nauseous, and I would eat probably like 1 meal a day. And then my senior year of high school, I started working on my anxiety, working on myself, and I was obviously like hungry again. So I was eating full meals, but I was almost overcompensating for those months that I wasn't eating, and I ended up gaining a lot of weight back, more than I had lost, which tends to be the cycle for a lot of people if you lose a lot of weight quickly. So yeah, when I went to college, I was at my heaviest weight. I'm a super big homebody. I like to be home, I like to be comfortable, I hate change, and just a lot of changes happened my freshman year of college, which I've talked about in my Q&A. And I was just at my lowest point mentally, and again, I was nauseous all the time, I was anxious all the time, so I was like not eating at all. And it was like a solid like 3 weeks or something where I was happy that I wasn't eating. I was losing weight so fast, I was just like woohoo. And I started realizing that the only person that you ever really have is yourself, and that was a hard reality. Obviously it is for anyone, and I was just like, why would I want to ruin my own life just for looks? But I was literally letting myself deteriorate. And I just got to a point one day, I was like, I am always tired, I'm still like not happy with myself, so I want to work on myself. So I started going to yoga, and I did a 30-day challenge where you do like 30 classes within 30 days, and I did it within like 25 days or something, because I was just loving it so much, because it was for the mental and for the physical and everything. And so I just got super into yoga. I started eating normally again. I started learning about nutrition. I started watching like fun nutrition videos on YouTube. I started watching documentaries, and I kind of just ran with it. I just got to a certain point where I was like, oh my god, this actually feels good to put in the effort to focus on my health, not only on my looks. So I was eating regularly, I was doing yoga, I was doing meditation, I was doing all this kind of stuff, and I started to feel really good. I don't know, I think it just kind of stuck because I started implementing small healthy habits every day. So like I started waking up earlier, I started prioritizing sleep more, I started incorporating more fruits and vegetables. I prioritized my yoga so much, which I think definitely helped me just prioritize exercise in general, because I realized how good it made me feel. And honestly, over like the course of like the past 2 years, my taste buds just sort of changed because I started learning about nutrition. So I started incorporating more nutrient dense foods into my meals. So now it's almost like my body just got so used to feeling good, and I started enjoying the nutritious foods. The biggest thing is that you have to do it gradually and slowly. I think that's the biggest thing. It's an ongoing journey, it's a lifelong thing. So it wasn't from one day to the next or one period to the next period. And then as for like exercise, I started just to experiment with more workouts and stuff. Like I obviously did a lot of yoga, I started doing Pilates, I started doing Orange Theory, I started trying to run. I found out that running is not my favorite. I also started experimenting with nutritionally dense foods that I liked, and I'm still kind of finding foods every single day that I enjoy that are super good for you. So experimenting with what works for you, exercise wise and food wise. I would look up like eat like a Victoria's Secret model, work out like a Victoria's Secret model, and some of the things were just like, I don't want to eat that, I don't want to work out that way, which is fine because we're not all built to eat the same way and work out the same way. Also, a big thing that I had to accept was genetics. So much of how we are shaped, how our body works, how our body functions is based on genetics, and that's not something that we can control. As for self-love, I think being grateful for little things is extremely important, because it does kind of start to change your mindset about just life in general, about being alive, about how much your body does for you. I asked you guys if you guys had any like questions or topics you wanted me to talk about on Instagram, so I'm gonna see if you guys answered it all yet. Okay, so the first question is, how do you stay motivated? Give yourself breaks. That's like the biggest tip I can give you. Give yourself breaks and make it something that's maintainable. If you are like, I'm gonna work out every single day for 2 weeks straight, like that's And some people it works, but most people it doesn't. So you have to find what works for you and listen to your body intuitively. Same thing with eating. If you eat things in moderation and you honor your cravings and you're eating intuitively, you eat when you're hungry, you stop when you're full, it's just so much more maintainable. And it's not even like a motivation thing. Now it's just like routine. And this kind of connects to the next question, which is, how did you shift your mentality? I think that most people right now that struggle have a mentality of quick fix or all or nothing, like that kind of thing. So what really helped me was looking at health and healthy habits and exercise and eating as something that is always going to affect me. It's going to be for my entire life. So I think stopping thinking of your health or exercise or food as something that has to have a deadline is super important. I feel like subconsciously everyone has like an end goal in mind, when in reality it should be living a maintainable and healthy lifestyle for your entire life. It's not something with an end date. Allowing yourself to honor your cravings, allowing yourself rest days, listening to what your body wants, and understanding that one meal, one day, 1 week, 1 month even is not going to ruin your progress or your lifelong health. And then someone asks, is it inevitable to have phases where you get out of the habit of working out / eating well? Yes, I think it's very inevitable. Life is all ups and downs, and I think something that helps you stay, or helps me personally stay motivated, is understanding that there will be ups and downs. And like some weeks I'm not going to want to work out at all, some weeks I'm going to work out every day, and most weeks I'm going to have a good balance of working out and not working out. And your body does know best. So if you're tired, let yourself be tired, let yourself rest. If you're hungry, let yourself eat. Your body's a lot smarter than you think, so trust it. Any tips to improve your digestion? This is hard because everyone is different, and the gut is something that is super complex and super different for everyone. So I would definitely recommend talking to a registered dietitian or a doctor. Just some tips that I know that help a lot of people are, you can look into a probiotic. Walking helps with digestion a lot. Drinking a lot of water. Sleep actually has such a big impact on digestion. So getting regular sleep is really good for you. And then getting a lot of fiber. How to deal with food guilt. Again, shifting the mentality from there's an end date to, oh, this is my life, I should just live it. And one meal, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, whatever, of bad eating or bad habits, major quotations on that, isn't gonna mess up your health. So just understanding that food in any form is fuel. Your body does need fuel anyway. Obviously some foods are gonna give you different kinds of fuel than others, but either way your body deserves fuel. So if one day it wants pizza cake for dinner, then give it some cake for dinner. And just understanding also how much the body does for you, understanding it knows best. Just eat in moderation. When was the moment you think you thought you did it? I'm gonna be honest, I think it is completely an ongoing process. That's kind of a shift in mentality that I've been talking about, where you start thinking about it as like, oh, this is life, there's gonna be ups and downs. It's not one period and another period. There's not an end date. But I would say when I did start learning about nutrition and learning about movement and learning about what the body does for us, it was like freshman year of college, which was 2 years ago. And that's definitely when it really started being so important to me, and I started prioritizing my health. But yeah, I know a lot of this is super general and super vague, but it really does depend on the person. Every person is different, every journey is different, every body is different. So you can't really, it's not one size fits all. But yeah, I'm so happy you guys watched this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made sense. I'm sorry, it was a lot of rambling and it was pretty much like a boring video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and follow my socials, and I will see you guys in the next video.